so the story, as it started out, writing about Uncle Brad and telling his story, it became our story, you know, because it was our story. And Uncle Brad went to prison for 10 years. And I knew that there was a lot of drama surrounding him. And I knew that this book, The Bluegrass Conspiracy, had been about Uncle Brad, and my dad was in it. But it was not on my radar. I really didn't know what was going on, but I knew his best friend and partner was Drew Thornton, who is sort of like this mythological character, as Uncle Brad is in Lexington folklore, as they were drug smuggling, and they were also working for the CIA. But that's, you know, the Bluegrass Conspiracy just said they were just like rich kids turned drug smugglers, you know. And I knew that wasn't true because my mom's family is like this military family. Uncle Brad is straight as an arrow. And he's never talked about it. And now he's like in his 70s. I will write it, you know, and it's true. You know, I should write it. It is, you know, I'm the one to write it. And so I told the people, Uncle Brad is not going to talk to anybody but me now. Started then in 2020. Calling Uncle Brad and starting from scratch, and did 7 hours of interviews with him. But in preparation for that, I listened for the first time on Audible to Sally Denton's Bluegrass Conspiracy. And it was just so inflammatory and so false and so made up. But I didn't know. I was like things about pilots and getting this, but I kind of had a background to what the folklore was. And so I started saying, okay, what did this happen and how did this happen? You know, he explains it as a horror story, you know, that they take over your life, which they do, which if you watch any CIA drama, if you're not, you know, the guy, you know, making the rules in an air-conditioned office, you've got the heavily indoctrinated soldiers, boots on the ground, whether they're spying or doing this, that, and the other, and they're basically pawns for the government. I actually did like 36 hours of interviews with all the people that were around this drama, you know, and what they saw and what they knew about my dad and Brad and everything. And the story became more about, I mean, not more about, but just as much about my dad as it did Uncle Brad, and hence the true crime memoir. It became about the collateral damage, which is what I saw as my brother and leader, Chagra, and me, even like everybody that we grew up in this world, because Uncle Brad eventually became his chief drug smuggler. I was mad at Uncle Brad for introducing my brother to all this stuff. I was mad at my dad for introducing my brother to all this stuff. I kind of look at it now personally. I don't feel any personal affront to it because I feel like I turned out okay.